Let's talk a little bit more about today's market action and find out where we are headed next as much as we can. Joining us now is Victoria Fernandez, Chief Market Strategist at Crossmark Global Investments. Victoria, always great to get your thoughts. Thanks for joining us today. What did you make of the price action today? Is it to be believed longer term?
Well, as Karen was mentioning earlier, we had a great jobs number that came out. However, I think the initial reaction from the markets, we were up about 400 points, I think, on the Dow. So coming back from that throughout the day, I think is basically the result of people realizing that, yes, we had a strong number, but the data was coming in through about the middle of June. We know that a lot of the shutdowns that started happening, like here in my home state of Texas, in California, in Florida, all of that was happening over the last couple of weeks. So I think people started to look forward to next month's payroll number and realize that we're probably not going to have as strong as a number as we did now. We need to look more at those weekly claims numbers. That's what we've been doing over the last couple months. That's going to give us a clearer look at exactly where we are right now and give you more immediate data going forward. I think that's why we saw the markets come back, but it was a positive, strong number, so the markets ended in the green.
So as you look at this from a market strategy standpoint, Victoria, this notion that we are seeing perhaps one or two steps backwards, so to speak, right? Economies are maybe looking at, again, shutting certain things down. Certainly indoor dining is in focus. How much of a concern and what parts of the country really matter when it comes to your strategy about the economy in the U.S. maybe taking another step back?
Well, if you look at the 4 states that have really gotten the most attention over the last couple of weeks and having to reverse some of their shutdowns, California, Texas, Arizona, Florida, those states I mentioned a moment ago, they make up about 30% of the U.S. GDP. Then flip and look at some of the states that are just now starting to open or they're in phase 2 of opening. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, these types of states, they're about 15% of U.S. GDP. So our concern is, as we've had some of these southern states really start to reverse their opening plans, we're going to have positive numbers more than double what we're seeing in these other states in order to make up the difference. And our concern is that you've got consumers who are going to be self-quarantining again, and some of that savings that they had built up that we anticipated would immediately be put to work once states began to open may not happen. There may be more concern that the economy is not going to open as quickly as anticipated, and some of those savings are going to stay, and we're not going to get the consumption that we need. Retail sales at 18% last month, that was a huge number for the market. We need to see something like that again, and I'm not sure we're going to get that. So when you look at your portfolio, I think you have to look longer term trends. 5G, cloud, data infrastructure, all those areas we've talked about before that because of COVID-19, we anticipate are going to have a longer run after COVID is over, and there's still going to be popular areas that are going to be built into. Those are areas we think you should focus on for long term.
Hey, Victoria, it's Tim. Stay safe down there, and certainly wish you all well in Houston. You talked about some of the cloud plays and the high-tech plays. The Nasdaq's outperformed the S&P by 21%. At what point do you think either a barbell trade or do you stay in mega cap tech? As much as we feel comfortable with those names, it seems like we're also fearful that they are dominating this rally.
Well, and I think you're right, Tim. They have dominated this rally for sure. However, I think they're the strong names that are going to continue to do well going forward. So do you buy them at all-time highs? No, not necessarily. We're not saying jump in with both feet at this point in time in some of these names that might be stretched. But those are going to be your great buying opportunities whenever we have some pullbacks. We've been buying pieces of these names over the last couple months. This week, I can tell you, we actually did smaller shifts. I think you can look at some of the things that you're seeing on a smaller scale. We actually trimmed our Yum position because we know restaurants are going to have a really difficult time going forward, especially as they're reducing now, like here in Texas, the number of people that can be in the restaurants from where we were a couple weeks ago, and actually went into JP Morgan, into financials. That's been hit really hard. All the banks have, and we think that they're going to be stronger going forward. So there can be some opportunistic trades in there. But longer term, we still like those big tech names.
All right, Victoria, just a few moments left here. We're going to ask you to put on your reporter hat. We're going to ask you to act like one of us, all right? Tell us about what exactly your view is about what's happening right now. You are in Houston, Texas. It is a hotspot right now for COVID-19. What is it that you're seeing about perhaps the commerce, the retail, the activity, the economic situation around Houston, just from a layperson's perspective? Has it changed a lot in Houston over the last couple of weeks?
I will say when we first started opening up about a month ago, everyone was running errands. They were out in restaurants. They were out in the bars, and very few people were wearing masks because it was not an issue for us to the same extent that it was up in the Northeast. However, over the last week or so, as things have started to shut down, if you go outside, there's fewer people. Everyone is wearing a mask. The concern has actually grown over the last 10 days, I would say, and I think that means we're going to see positive results in the next 2 to 3 weeks in Texas and other states like us.
All right, we should also mention right now that Texas Governor Abbott has now put a mask mandate in place for certain counties that have at least 20 confirmed cases of the COVID virus. So we're watching those developments in Texas very closely. Thank you very much, Victoria Fernandez at Crossmark, for joining us. Always appreciate your thoughts.